Right, 12 August 2025. And today I'm so happy to be giving you the morning update. And I know that most of you guys in Zimbabwe are on holiday. So I'm going to give you a quick update so that you can go back to bed. So let me give you an update on Tagwirei. So yesterday we saw billionaire Kuda Tagwirei appearing comfortably among ZANU-PF officials and the military were present. So you can see that Tagwirei is slowly becoming accepted within ZANU-PF, not just as a member, but as a leader of ZANU-PF. So the dynamics in ZANU-PF are changing, and I believe that Tagwirei is going to be officially accepted into ZANU-PF, and the fights around whether Tagwirei belongs or not are over. So I don't see a possibility of Tagwirei's entrance into the Central Committee being resisted anymore. So I don't see that happening any longer. And I believe that there have been a behind the scenes negotiation which has allowed Tagwirei to be in this position where he is now accepted. So this would normally not happen. Chiwenga would not sit next to Tagwirei. They would throw him out of any function where Chiwenga was present. So you remember that in Bulawayo, they had said Chiwenga was going to attend with Tagwirei, but that meeting never happened. And now you are seeing Tagwirei comfortably walking around here. So he is openly walking around with people who are in ZANU-PF and without incident. So he was in the high table. I don't know exactly what position he was sitting in and who among the ZANU-PF people he was sitting with, but he was in the tent. He was not an outcast. And slowly, you're going to see him moving closer and closer to the presidium because Mnangagwa is gone. So Mnangagwa is gone. It's just a matter of time. So you can clearly see that Chiwenga is at the moment not feeling like he's threatened by the presence of Tagwirei. And looking at the military guys, what was interesting for me was to see their age. So most of the guys in the military, the top generals of the military in Zimbabwe, they have reached an age of retirement. So most of them are reaching retirement age within the next 5 years. And the change that is coming is going to be very interesting. So you must understand that where we're going, there's no way back. Politics is going to change. And unfortunately, Tagwirei is not popular. So he's not a popular person to become a president. I think, in my own view, and I don't want to make this like the gospel. In my own view, Chiwenga and Tagwirei, if you take the two of them, Chiwenga is most likely to be a more popular person than Tagwirei in any election in ZANU-PF. So it would be easier for Chiwenga to get votes in ZANU-PF than Tagwirei. So that is why he doesn't feel so much challenge. Chiwenga is feeling relaxed enough to let Tagwirei in. And they're no longer saying, get out of here, don't go into this meeting. And the next time you're going to see Tagwirei, he's going to be appointed in the Central Committee. And we are awaiting the letter. So there's a letter that is supposed to be written from the Central Committee admitting Tagwirei. And since that meeting was chaired by Chiwenga, he's going to play a big part in that letter being written. So I believe that within the next 2 or 3 weeks, Tagwirei will be officially welcomed into the Central Committee of ZANU-PF, and Chiwenga won't have a problem with it. So yesterday's events clearly showing that Tagwirei is now part and parcel of the leadership of ZANU-PF. He was welcomed, he had a prominent role, and his money is allowing him to go in very quickly. So Tagwirei is the man to watch in ZANU next to Chiwenga. You are seeing a move from the military guys who were dominant in ZANU-PF, the War of Liberation guys, towards a new group or new crop in ZANU. Unfortunately, most young people in ZANU are afraid of taking leadership roles. So they're not comfortable challenging for leadership. That's why I see that Tagwirei is easily going to get to the top. There is no one currently in ZANU among the youngsters who is challenging for leadership. They are all comfortable to be behind and watching the leaders or the older generation leading. So there's no challenge at all on the existing leaders right now in ZANU-PF. Okay, so clearly Tagwirei is in, and we're just waiting for confirmation within a week or two. That is during the ZANU-PF Central Committee meeting, which is going to be held. Normally they have it once a month. Right, I think we've covered it. Tagwirei is in. Chiwenga doesn't have a problem with it. Now let's quickly run through some stories. Today we've got a big event in Harare at 4 p.m. Joe Thomas, an American artist, is going to be performing at Old Harare Sports Club. So this is very interesting. Probably one of the few American artists to ever come into Zimbabwe. So go check that out. It's going to be very interesting. Then we've got obviously events around Defense Forces Day. So I don't know how that is going to work. I'll give you details when we look at the Herald later on today or during this show. Then in terms of other news, let's quickly look at South Africa. So, in fact, let's start with Chief Seke. Chief Seke has been ordered to retract his ED 2030 comments by the court. So the High Court has ordered Chief Seke to take out an advert in a national newspaper, retracting his comments. ED 2030 vaMnangagwa vanenge vachitonga pamberi neZANU-PF pasine mandu. So the court has found that a chief cannot make that kind of statement. So Chief Seke is Chimanikire, that is his name, and the court has ordered that he must take out an advert. He must also circulate the advert to the parliament. So to say he's not supposed to make those kind of statements. If you're a chief, you're not supposed to support a political party. So that is going to be done, and it's a court order. And then let's quickly look at South Africa. South African billionaire Patrice Motsepe has been taken to court, and he's been taken to court by, in fact, he's the one who's going to court in Johannesburg to try to reverse a default judgment that was given in Tanzania. So he's supposed to pay 3.4 billion rands to Tanzanian group, Pula Group, after they had a discussion, and he then took information from that discussion to start another venture with a competitor, Evolution Energy. So Pula Energy has received a default judgment, and Motsepe is trying to challenge that default judgment in a South African court because he says the Tanzanian court does not have jurisdiction. So this is a big story right now in South Africa. Then in terms of Africa, in Chad, the opposition leader has been sentenced to 20 years in jail. So that is Success Masra, sentenced to 20 years in jail for xenophobia. So he was challenging the current president of Chad. So that's a big story right now. And then the South African government has clarified that police are not allowed to wear buffs. So that mask there, normal policemen are not supposed to wear that mask. That is quite trending in South Africa. Then other things, let's look at pictures. That is Opam Chinguri there in the Herald with her husband. So that is Opam Chinguri Kashiri together with her husband, Reverend Kashiri. So go check that out. They've issued quite a number of pictures inside of the Herald today. So go check out those pictures. So let's quickly look at the newspapers. Let's go to Chronicle. The reason why I'm not going to H Metro is because I'm going to go there later. So H Metro always has funny stories, strange stories, interesting stories, the TMZ of Zimbabwe. So let's go to Chronicle newspaper, very quickly. So, President, I'm not displaying. Right, President urges renewal of sacrifice, selflessness. And then nation pays tribute to liberation heroes. And then BCC delivers 650 service stands. So these are general stories. They're not big stories. Then 2 people killed in Bulawayo during a Honda Fit accident. So far this weekend, the number of people that have died are about 10. That is because of accidents, crashes, and so forth. Very sad. And then Chief Chitauze Matriarch celebrates 100 years. So the Chitauze family on Saturday hosted a colorful celebration to mark the 100th birthday of Gogori Kelasimanda, the matriarch of Chief Chitauze clan at the family homestead at Mpande, Zan area in Bedbridge. So that is the vendor chief. You can see she's wearing the vendor attire here. So I'll give you more details about that. Have the guys to put in information on the website. Then Zimbabwe records 381 million electronic transactions in 6 months. So that is US 44 billion were executed in the first half of 2025. So I don't know what these transactions are, because certainly the economy of Zimbabwe is not 44 billion. Why are these transactions happening? Who is paying? Who is buying? It makes no sense to me that 44 billion could have been transacted in Zimbabwe in dollars. So something is wrong with these numbers. I don't believe them at all. Then let's see if we can look at H Metro. So in H Metro, there's a very sad story of a father, a security guard, who has killed his son for failing a ZANU-PF exam. So this is the man here. Man kills son for failing ZANU-PF interview. And the man is Gibson Munyoro, right? Let's see. A 41-year-old Waterfalls man was on Sunday arrested for assaulting son to death over failing to pass police recruitment test. Gibson Munyoro, a security officer, was reported to have sent his son Gonzaishe Munyoro to Mukushi Academy. So I don't think he's a security guard. Security officer means maybe Munwoku president's office or something like that. Because only such people can do such a thing. Because honestly, what is a ZANU-PF interview? ZANU-PF, Yaka broker. You can't kill your son for ZANU-PF. What is that? But that is what has happened. The mother. So when this man was beating up his son, he tied him up, and everyone tried to help the boy. They could not help him until the mother had to come and stop him. And that is terrible. Vanuveku security. Okay, I think we've covered what I wanted to cover. Let's go to Zambia, and then we go to my people. So in Zambia, we are awaiting the court to make a ruling on President Edgar Lungu, if the family of Lungu can appeal. If the court gives a go-ahead, they'll appeal. So that go-ahead has not been given. We're waiting for them to say if an appeal can be done. So at the moment, they've not been told if they can appeal or not. So that is where it is right now. So we don't have any new newspapers. I'll give you guys an update on Zambia later on today, during the day. Okay, so let's go to my people. So my people on Facebook, what are they posting today? So let's start with, all right, we need to share. All right, what are we going to start with? Let's start with SADC. All right, SADC. What is the post in SADC? So European Union supports WFP disaster preparedness in SADC. So you can see that European Union is back. They're now dealing with SADC again after Mnangagwa left. So that is clearly They were waiting for Mnangagwa to be gone. And now that is gone, they're dealing with SADC again. Then President Maboko, and I'm serious about this, they didn't touch SADC as long as Mnangagwa was the chairman. It is easier to target. It's easy to train, to attain. It's not a target for me. If the target is easy to attain for me, it's not a target for me. Let's see.
And so sometimes I shudder when people say these targets are impossible to achieve. In the land of snipers, the target is never the problem. The target is not the problem. There obviously are variables.
Okay, go check it out. President Maboko explaining why you have to aim high and not low. So check him out. This is my favorite president. Botswana is going to do very, very well under President Maboko. And then let's go to Madam Boss. Madam Boss, what is she saying? Highway maintenance. She is in the UK. I like that bag. I never understand those small bags. What is in the small bags? So that is Madam Boss doing well over here. She is doing very well in London. I don't know what she's doing there. I think she's doing some gospel music or whatever, but she's doing very, very well. Go check it out. The most popular person in Zimbabwe in terms of endorsements. And then President Fadzi, 2028. What is she saying? 6 hours ago. That is, what is 5 a.m. club? Making fun of ZANU-PF guys once again. So that is interesting. And then let's look at who else do you want to look at. Minnie didn't post today. I checked it out earlier. She didn't post. Who else? Okay, Minnie posted. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. That's amazing. I like that dress. Probably the most interesting dress I've seen in a while. Very interesting. I wonder who does the styling, because it's obviously not normal styling. Someone has to be doing it for her. In fact, I like what's happening in Zimbabwe. It's very interesting what's happening in Zimbabwe. We have so much opportunity coming up. A lot of things are going to happen. But we first of all have to change our approach. So our vision is too small. So the vision that people have is too small. We need a bigger vision. And a bigger vision is where everyone contributes and we have a bigger country. So it's sad to see a National Heroes Day where there's no opposition member. You saw that there was no member of the opposition. It was literally only ZANU-PF people. So it's not a national day. It's a ZANU-PF day, unfortunately. That is how it is. We need to go bigger. And at the moment, we are not bigger. We are smaller. But let's look at Auxilia Mnangagwa's dress. That is Auxilia Mnangagwa over here. So she's wearing the national, that is Murenga there. That bird you see there, that's Murenga. That is the national bird of Zimbabwe. And then let's see who else I want to check out. So I showed you Minnie in the dress. That was very nice. So she did very well. And I like it. That was beautiful. Look at the shoes. So let's look at the shoes. I didn't take Mnangagwa's shoes. Normally I look at Mnangagwa's shoes, but I didn't look at Mnangagwa's shoes. I think now the photographers don't photograph his shoes. For some reason, they know that I look at the shoes. So they don't look at photograph his shoes. And then let's go to other people. So there are two couples that I like. So there is this new couple here. You can go and check out. They are called the Musekas. And then obviously we've got the Miribidi House. They publish almost on a daily basis. And yesterday they went to their new land. So a big land in the bush somewhere. So go check out all the new things that are being done by our people around Zimbabwe. Okay, so now let's recap. In terms of sport, are still the same. So the league is the same. Dynamo's facing relegation. At the top, you've got Zimbabwe and Scotland. This is because, remember, they're funded. So the big guys are funded. So they can do a lot. And in this league that we have now, Scotland and Zimbabwe, they've got the money. So they have a lot of money. And you can see what is happening right now. Check out that top. Zimbabwe with 47 points, Scotland with 46 points, and that MWOS, that is Wange, the old Wange, with 42 points. So all these guys at the top are funded. Up to Herenda was there. They're funded. Someone pays money, lots of money to get this team going. And at the bottom, we've got the community teams, Dynamos, Yada, Triangle. Chicken Inn is surprisingly low. I don't know why Chicken Inn is not doing well, because they've got money for days. Right, I think we've covered everything. And then let's just finish with one story in South Africa. That is, there is a big concern being raised in South Africa about buy now, pay later. So in South Africa, there's something called buy now, pay later, where you buy a product or a good or anything that you like, and then you pay over a period of time. So the biggest buy now, pay later platforms are Payflex, Pay Just Now, Float, and Afterpay. So let's say you want to buy a TV and you don't have money, and the TV is 5,000. You can just go and pay 1,000, and then you pay over some 3 or so months. And so that means you don't pay interest, and they approve you very quickly. So the problem is people are not being credit checked, and a lot of pressure is being put on people who cannot afford it. And you can see the terms there. 4 equal payments over 6 weeks. So if you buy a TV, let's say for 5,000, it means eventually you just pay a deposit of 1,000, and then over the next 6 weeks, you pay 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. It's easier than paying 6K. And this works normally for people who get paid every week. So after 6 weeks, you now have your big TV and it's paid up. So this is becoming a problem because people are now using this for groceries. So people are so broke that they now have to use this kind of situation for, and it's a big thing. It's like the business thing right now, the big story in business. All right, I think I've covered everything. Let's go to the comments. Tell Chamisa to keep his head up. Let's see what Chamisa has tweeted. What tweet is coming from Chamisa today? So you know what I think about what's happening? We're going to have one of the most active elections ever. So the election that is coming now in 2028 is going to be the most competitive election you have ever seen, because Mnangagwa will be gone and violence is no longer going to be an issue in this next election. So the last tweet that came from Chamisa was from August 10, and that is all. That's all that we have. So we don't have anything from Chamisa. And then ZANU-PF knows the need for future leadership. I don't like ZANU at all. Gambakwe, Zesa has no have Jakanaka. Okay, I don't know what they're talking about. Say, all right, I think we've covered everything. So the big story, obviously, is ZANU, Tagwirei attending without any incident at the National Heroes Acre, and people like Chiwenga, president, the army president. Remember, this man was being called Chigananda very recently. Less than 2 months ago, he was Chigananda. Now they are allowing him to attend without any incident. He is walking into the tent and sitting in the same tent with the leaders of ZANU. And it appears to me that there has been some deal behind the scenes in ZANU-PF. They just want it not to be so obvious, but a deal has been reached in ZANU, and you're going to see more of Tagwirei in the leadership structures of ZANU. But our military, almost everyone reaching retirement age among the generals. We need a new approach. So a new approach is needed, and a new group of generals is going to come up. Some of them who didn't even fight in the war of liberation. So these people didn't fight. They're going to be taking up positions in leadership. You're going to see a big change in Zimbabwe in our current approach. In the next 5 years, Mnangagwa won't be there. Most of the army generals won't be there. Chiwenga will probably be in charge in ZANU. That is if we fail to organize the opposition. So we need to organize the opposition because the guys in ZANU won't be able to change a lot. However, you are going to see more of a coalition or a government with a mixture. And at one point, ZANU is going to lose so badly that the only thing you have is the opposition. And if the opposition is not organized, you have a weak government. So you need a strong government, a government that is able to bring about change, not this fake change that we've been seeing in the past where people are doing more of the same. So we need a stronger opposition, then our country is going to do well. But at the moment, clearly, we no longer have young people at the top in the military. And this is very significant. Valerio is going to be leaving very soon. He's already reached retirement age. And I don't see him going into politics. So many people have been telling me that Valerio is going to come and become vice president and so forth. I don't see him coming into that position. I don't believe that Valerio is political. And I think that he would actually leave like the other generals because he's already rejected to be put into ZANU-PF. Remember, they wanted to co-opt him into the ZANU-PF Central Committee, and he rejected it. So my belief is that Valerio is not going to go into the Central Committee. He's going to just retire and go home. That is because he is not a kind of person that is more of political. Similar to Mdara Matatu, Mdara Ndrede. These are not guys that are going to be in politics. So the person that is going to be in politics is Sanyatwe. You're going to see Sanyatwe coming. He's going to want to be in politics. So the challenge that Chiwenga is going to get inside of ZANU is going to come from Tagwirei and Sanyatwe. So those are the guys that you're going to see coming up inside of the contest. And then Opam Chinguri, she is going to be in the mix somewhere. She wants to be there, but she doesn't want to show her ambition. Okay, cool. So I think we've covered it. And I think now I must just take a break and go and take my workout. I do my morning workout for an hour, my afternoon workout for about 20 minutes, and my evening workout for about 30 minutes. So in a day, I do 3 workouts 4 times a day. That is 4 times 3. That is 12 workouts. And then we have there. So thank you guys, everyone who's been ordering. If you're in the UK, there's a special. Buy 1 packet and get 1 packet free. If you're in South Africa, buy 1 packet and get True Detox from Zambia. And if you're in Zimbabwe, get delivery throughout the country and pick up in Harare and Bulawayo and Kariba. So those are the 3 places where we could pick up. And then the rest of the places you get delivery by Swift or by DHL. So there's no country we've not covered. And look at those benefits for guys. So I want to remind you that every day you need to continue the midsection workout. That workout that we've been doing 12 months, 12 weeks, 12 months challenge, so that you've got a 6-pack. And I'll play for that for you tonight. I'll just take a bit more time to show you what to do, because high blood pressure, diabetes cause cancer. They cause cancer. All right. People need to organize a protest in all SADC countries and show that SADC is useless. Protests won't work anymore because Mnangagwa is gone. So you're protesting against someone who's gone. So now we need to organize for the elections. We need to make sure that we're ready. And when you do well in your campaign, you are going to see ZANU-PF has no plan. So they've got no plan. Mnangagwa, once he leaves, people in ZANU are going to struggle. They will not be able to organize themselves and it's up to the opposition to lose. So if you're in the opposition, you need a strong candidate, you need a plan, and you need to be able to implement. So you need to be able to implement the things that people want. So at the moment, Zimbabwe is not in any way ready for any big change. So you need an opposition that is going to come with something so big, something so interesting that people will have an interest in politics. People have lost interest in politics. And I believe that Fadzi is the one, Advocate Fadzi is the one that is going to ignite that interest. And I've said to you, we've said to Advocate Fadzi, got up to the 24th of August to respond. If she hasn't responded or hasn't declared an interest to contest in 2028, we've got a plan, and that plan will be announced soon thereafter. So by the first week of September, we'll give you an update on how we're going to proceed. So specifically, we are going to be setting up a coalition, and everyone is going to be invited to that coalition. We don't want the opposition to go into the elections with many different small groups. We want one strong group. Not only that, we want a strong manifesto. We want a strong system, so a strong secretariat where things are done from the secretariat and the politicians do what they need to do. But organizing of a congress, organizing of votes, everything's done by the secretariat. That's why things have been bad, because people have been fighting each other. Politicians trying to organize a congress. That's not supposed to be like that. So we're going to have a strong secretariat, a strong manifesto. People are going to do very well, and the opposition is going to bring about a big change. Every night, I come here to give you details about what is going to happen after Mnangagwa is removed through the ballot. So, Jema protest and all that, I can assure you that period is over now. You're not going to have a protest. Chiwenga is not going to remove Mnangagwa, and the army guys are not coming. So there's no one in the army coming. Valerio is not going to become vice president. He's going to go to his village and farm. So you now have a new order that is coming, and that new order requires the opposition to be organized. If you're not organized, munofane nzara wakomana, mukaramba muchitera people who are not there. So don't follow someone who's not there. Don't follow someone that's gone. Someone arikumba kwake. Don't follow them. Follow those who are there. So no one gets a haircut when they're not there. You want to have a haircut, you go to the place where they cut your hair. That's the way. That's the only way. No other way. Right. I'd like to thank all of you for watching. It's been amazing. And I'll see you again a little bit later. And a good day to you all.